Walnut Creek TV is proud to be back on the air with high school football. Tonight from Walnut Creek, it's the Campolindo Cougars and the Las Lomas Knights. Dan Wall and Tony Schultz, glad to be back with you here from high school football. Tony, it's been 3 years.
Yes, it's been a while.
A lot of people reminded me, and they said it hasn't been long enough for you two, but they'll take it anyway.
Well, nobody remembered me, so at least you were remembered. It worked for you.
Well, these two teams have been remembered since we've been away. They're pretty much the same teams we remember back in the day. Campolindo comes in 9-0. They were predicted to go 0-9.
Yeah, so much for the prognosticators, Dan. Picked them to be last in the DFAL, and here they are at 9-0. Brett Stevens playing excellent football at quarterback. Their offense moving the ball very well, doing a lot of good things, and that record says it all for Coach Macy with her perfect record coming into tonight.
And it's the same kind of team, smallish team that throws the ball a lot, has a good offense. Same team we remember all those years ago. Now, Las Lomas is pretty much the same team we remember from all those years ago. Coach Doug Longero just keeps rolling out winning teams. Seem to always be in the playoffs. He always has a good quarterback, a good running back, and the offense, that West Coast offense, hums along with good defensive play as well.
Yeah, you look at Adam Wood, and now he's only been in there for a couple of games because they had an injury with the starting quarterback early, but they haven't skipped a beat, Dan. In fact, they've been even a little bit better, running the ball well, throwing the ball well, not doing anything poorly. The only problem they had was that hiccup against Miramani, Dan, and if it wasn't for them starting slow in that game, they'd be perfect in this game as well.
Interesting stat to talk a little bit about tonight, Tony. Campolindo has scored 42 points in 4 straight games. It should be a great one tonight. Campolindo wins, they win the title. If Las Lomas wins, they go to next week. This is Campolindo's final game until the playoffs. We'll be back with all the action next here on Walnut Creek TV.
Parking made easy and convenient.
You're good to go.
Now that was easy.
Hi, welcome to Inside Center Rep.
My name is Carrie Lederer, and I'm the curator of exhibitions here at the Bedford Gallery.
Hi there. Welcome to Get Lit.
And that's when I decided to run for the city council.
This is so exciting.
You're free to explore downtown Walnut Creek. Shopping, dining, and entertainment are only a stop away on the free ride. Catch the free ride trolley from BART, Broadway Plaza, the Leisure Center, or one of its many downtown stops. The free ride stops every 15 minutes to keep your day moving. Check out cccta.org for more information on how you are free to explore downtown Walnut Creek.
anthem performed by your Las
Dan Wall
Lomas
and
Pep Band.
back, or is it Anthony Schultz?
Mr. Schultz.
Mr. Schultz, actually Sergeant Schultz from my past experiences with you, but we'll call you Anthony because I know you enjoy that. Anthony Schultz. Back here at Las Lomas High School getting ready for the start of this big game tonight.
Yes.
And we're going to take a look at the standings in the DFAL, and you can see there Campolindo sits atop at 5-0. Los Lomas at 3-1. Now Los Lomas one little miscue to Miramani.
Yes.
So Miramani's still in the title hunt. If Campo loses tonight, Los Lomas wins out, Miramani wins, then we have a three-way tie for first place. But it doesn't really affect the playoffs as much. Only maybe a home game or a seeding because all three are going to make the playoffs.
They're all
and
in.
Campo and Miramani are Division 3, whereas Los Lomas is Division 2. So it's a little convoluted, but you'll all know more about it next Sunday when you read the newspaper.
What?
All right, folks, we're ready to go here. Kicking off for Las Lomas, number 19, Mitch Howard. And back deep for Campolindo's number 2, Carl Thornton. So we're glad to be back on the air here from Walnut Creek, and here's a line drive kick taken by Thornton inside the 5. And he's got some blockers. He's got room down that sideline. He's already out to the 40-yard line, and Thornton may go. Man. Thornton, he's at the 20, the 10, touchdown Campo. A penalty flag, though.
Yeah, that came really early. Right when he turned that corner.
96-yard return, but there's a penalty flag sitting at the 18-yard line, and that usually means that one of the offensive guys did something wrong.
They're holding or they're clipping or something like that. It's going to come back. So a very exciting play all for not there, but we see this at every level of football far too much on kickoffs.
Yes, lots of penalties. So Campo will take over back near their 10-yard line. Let's take a look at their offense. Brett Stevens, as we talked about in the open, he's thrown for 1,405 yards, 21 touchdowns, Tony. He's the quarterback. Reiner Ibarli and Connor Rosenbaum are the running backs. Carl Thornton and Griffin Pyatt are the wide receivers. And Vince Graziano, you might remember his brother Nick was the quarterback here 5 years ago. He is the tight end. Brumbaugh, Weisler, Fox, Meyer, and Tui are the line. 3 junior starters on the line for Campolindo.
And guys also, Dan, that haven't taken, before this year, have not taken any snaps on the front line.
Ibarli is a single back. Thornton in motion. Play action. And they're going deep up the field on first down. A long pass just out of the reach. Let's check that number. That's number 20 for Campolindo, who's not on our roster. So, Tony, the first play. We don't have a guy on the roster. Isn't that just how it always seems to work out for us?
You saw that number 20, Dan, running down the field, and you could see that he beat the corner, and the safety coming over to help was late. That ball was just a little bit overthrown, or that could have been 6, or at least a big play for Las Lomas.
That could have been
Campo,
could have been T.J. Hushmanzada, who hadn't been seen until just this week when he signed with the Raiders. So, number 20 is our mystery player so far. Second down from the 8-yard line. Inside slant pass to Pyatt. Pyatt breaks a tackle. Pyatt still with the ball. He's at the 30. Pyatt's at the 40. Midfield, 40-yard line, being chased. And now Pyatt is going to go all the way for a Campolindo touchdown. No flags. Touchdown, Cougars.
That was an amazing play. Just a little turn in there, Dan. He catches the ball, does Pyatt, and then able, at the 30-yard line, able to cut it upfield and break a couple of tackles and go all the way for the score.
Inside slant pass to Pyatt. Pyatt breaks a tackle. Pyatt still with the boys.
And then it's all the way to pay dirt, 91 yards and a touchdown. And right off the bat, 2 plays in, Cougars on the board. And, Dan, that's not really that surprising. You know, you look at the Campolindo Cougars, they're averaging better than 40 points a game so far, Dan.
Well, as
really
we mentioned,
rolling it up.
42 points in their last 4 games in each game. The extra point is up, and it's good. We had a number change there. That's number 44, Christian Antizana, who kicked that extra point. 91 yards. Pyatt now on the season, 21 receptions. Add to his already 561 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Amazing, Dan. And you can see right away this potent passing game because, as we said earlier, they're not the biggest team, and they really have to execute well and kind of fool you a little bit and do a lot of things with movement, but obviously they're doing it pretty successfully. They're scoring over 40 points a game.
Well, Coach Macy's had that squad together for a number of years. A great coaching staff over there, Tony. As you can see our score, and Las Lomas now for their first possession waiting. While we have an opportunity, Dave Kataya, the former Pac-10 Director of Officials, along with Ray DePole, Ken Leffel, Chris Keating, and Morgan Lakin are our officials tonight. Kataya and a veteran crew that have been out here many, many years. Dave's also an Arena Football League referee.
Interesting to know.
So Anazana will kick. And it's not a very far kick, but it's high. And number 6 for Las Lomas, David Breeze. A fair catch at the 27-yard line, so that's where Las Lomas will take over. Let's run through their offense real quick. Adam Wood, the quarterback. Jake Villa and Garrett McGough are the running backs. Robert Au and Ardell Romez are the wide receivers. Kiri Carson's the tight end. Wolf, Stom, Alvey, Frantescu, and Sanson. And they have 3 junior starters, Tony, across the front line for Las Lomas. Wood hands off to, that's Villa. And Villa gets 4 on first down. Let's take a look at the Campolindo defense for you. Hill, Frantescu, Stom, and Kirsch. We heard a few of those names going both ways. Linebackers, excuse me, that's Las Lomas' defense. Perry, Simmons, Bakhtiari, and McDonald are the front line for Campolindo. Graziano, Vega, and here's one for you, Samaniego. It sounds like San Diego, but with an M in there. Windat, Mascaroni, Thornton, and Pyatt are the defensive backfield for the Cougars. The undefeated Campo Cougars are on 2nd down and 6. Villa goes in motion. It's a swing a pass out in, that might have been a backwards pass, but I also see a penalty flag on the far sideline. That was intended for number 2, Robbie Au.
It looks like they're going to get Las Lomas with that illegal shift. You saw that time, Dan, they were going empty backfield. And remember, they do throw a lot to their Z back. And they get a lot of mileage out of running and throwing to that play. And, but this time, you know, can't have too many guys. You can't have more than one guy moving at the same time, and they did.
In this league. This isn't the CFL, Tony. You can in the CFL, but not here.
Dan, nobody knows or cares about the CFL.
Except for me, I know.
Except for you,
I know.
yeah. You're still rooting for Sacramento, aren't you?
Don't they have a team? They actually have one in that other league that kind of miserably flamed out here in the last month or so, but more on that later. They're going to take the play, Tony, because it was an incomplete pass. 3rd and 5. Villa in motion once again. Looks like the same exact play, and it was read very well, far sideline by number 28, Dan Fideli. He sniffed that out. He almost intercepted that behind the line, Tony.
Well, that was very funny because Las Lomas went to the exact same play, the exact same formation, and you can see how Campolindo sniffs this out perfectly, and they knew it was coming.
You could see that it's not good when the defensive player is in your backfield on a screen pass.
No, and I really thought, Dan, that was very close to being one of those pick 6 going the other way, the way he threw that ball, and really Las Lomas lucky to have a chance to punt this football.
And being a Rams fan, you're used to that. Okay, here we go.
Dan, I thought we weren't talking about the Rams tonight.
4th down. The punt by Milner. And taken by Thornton at about the 20. At the 30, a 5-yard return. Campo will have their second possession. They'll start at the 35-yard line. Let's just quickly review the Las Lomas defense because we didn't have a chance on that first one. This is where Hill and Frantescu, Stom, and Kirsch come in with Abramson, McGough, and Wood as linebackers. So Adam Wood's going both ways, the quarterback. Gravitt, Au, Hill, and Villa. So a lot of guys going both ways for these teams out here tonight, Tony.
Typical high school football, Dan. You got your best athletes out there, and they do so much for you on both sides of the football.
Stevens over the middle, once again Pyatt, and Pyatt has a huge gain into Las Lomas territory at the 45-yard line. Tackle was made by Au, a gain of 20 and a first down.
And you saw that time Au making that tackle. It almost looked like the same play as we saw on the touchdown, Dan. He didn't cut it inside quite as much this time, but you saw that play, and really, if Au doesn't come up with a tackle, that's probably another big play again. And boy, that last play, Dan, for Pyatt, you know, his long before that was 85, his long now, the one you just saw, 91 yards.
91, yeah. If you look at Stevens' stats, 1405, 21 TDs, Pyatt, 20 catches, and now 22 on the year for over 600 yards. You can see where a lot of their offense is coming from. Quick handoff. This is Ibarli for the first time, and Ibarli goes around the right side on a little power sweep, and he gains 3. Ibarli has ran this season for 748 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, scat back Dan, very quick. Does a good job following his blocks. He just kind of picks his way out there. Always very good at following that blocker. And the offensive line we talked about, small, Dan, but effective. And nobody up here had played a single varsity snap coming into this season. And last year for the JV, they didn't have a line coach. So they've really had to patch it together, and they've done a good job.
Very good, as always over there on the Campolindo sideline. 2nd and 7. Handoff, Barley. And kind of looked like that little number 21 for the 49ers, the way he took that one in there and kind of picked his way through for a couple. It's going to be 3rd and a short 5. But so far, you can see why Campolindo, Tony, as you look at their schedule, 37, 49. El Cerrito held them to 16, 55, 38, 42, 42, 42, 42.
Yeah.
One of the best offenses around. Three wide receivers in the game. Stevens to throw over the middle, and it's broken up very nicely that time by number 3 for Las Lomas. That's Garrett McGough, a junior, and he dove inside, made that nice defensive play, and it's going to be a decision for Coach Macy on 4th down. At this point, you might want to play the field possession game.
I would, and now that time the pass for a win got a little bit too short, and he had to kind of stop and come back for that ball, which really let the defense react to it and make a play. So this time they're going to have to punt, but they should be in a position where they can pin Las Lomas back pretty deep. Let's see.
This is also an area where you always have to look for a fake because they're on their side of the field, but it's a high kick and a fair catch.
Boy.
And now the ball's on the ground down at the 4-yard line. Wow.
Boy, that was a very risky play there, Dan, almost diving to make that fair catch. And you might be better served to just let that one go ahead and roll into the end zone, because even if you're making that catch, then you're going to be down inside the 5 anyway. Why risk a fumble in that situation?
That was Al who actually dove on the ball, and they'll start at the 4, 7:56 to go, first quarter, 7-0 Campolindo.
I'm sure Coach Longero will say, discretion being the better part of valor. I'll go ahead and let that one roll into the end zone next time. If they down it, they down it.
So Las Lomas has not had the greatest field position to start either of these drives.
Go. Oh, it's there, it's there, it's there, it's there.
That's Villa again, and he battles his way ahead for about 3. Tony, in our past lives, when we used to be on that other station for another company, we used to watch Las Lomas a lot, and we got to see them win a couple of titles. The one game no one will ever forget, if you're a local football fan, was the 37-36 triple overtime victory in the North Coast section game against Clayton Valley over DVC. When Doug Longero, who we call the Riverboat Gambler, went for 2 in the 3rd overtime. One of the great high school football games ever played in the Bay Area.
Now, 13 seasons for Coach Longero, 6 times in the NCS title game, Dan. They won, as you said, a couple of those. They were the East Bay title winner back in 07 before losing to Nevada in the title game.
And Las Lomas finally gets something done that time. That's Ardell Romez, who came around on what looked like a little short reverse. He gets outside the left side, and you can see on the replay here. And he was pulled down by number 7, who's done a lot on both sides of the ball, Griffin Pyatt. But it's first down. They're out to the 22-yard line.
Got a good tackle by Griffin Pyatt that time, because if he doesn't make that stop, that's a big play on Las Lomas' side. He really just kind of was able to drag the ball carrier down. That might have been 6 going the other way.
Handoff again to the inside line. I believe the ball carrier that time was McGough.
You saw the Campo defense very stout up front there, Dan. That has been kind of a trouble spot for them. The one thing you can sort of, you can't really hide that size up front of the defensive line. You can do a lot of different things offensively to kind of cover that up, but defensively, if people want to just push you around, usually they can. So that front 7 has really got to be stout in there if they're not going to get pushed around on that defensive line.
Well, usually if they're not big on that side, they're at least very athletic. You can see Graziano playing the same position his brother did, middle linebacker, and that time breaking through and making the tackle, and that'll be for a loss of. They lost everything on that one. They had gained 3. They lose the 3 back. It'll be 3rd and 10.
Boy, what a play by Danny Fox getting across that line, Dan, making that tackle. And boy, things are going good for you defensively when you've got your guys in the other team's backfield, and that's where they had Danny Fox that time to make a big play.
And Graziano was there. You might remember Graziano's brother Nick, we talked about, went to Nevada. He started out as a middle linebacker. And back in that year, he wasn't supposed to be the quarterback. He just kind of fell into that job, went on to be a D1 and then a Division II quarterback, won some awards. And now his brother's playing the same middle linebacker position. Here we go, 3rd down and a penalty flag, and this will be procedure, and it'll be 3rd and 15 for the Knights. There's Dave Kataya.
You talk about Nick Graziano, the league MVP as a senior. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the state that year. And remember his old passing mate, Phil Galligan. That was a pretty good tandem. And Graziano actually went to Reno, got hurt, and Dan, I know you know this. Who was the backup quarterback for them at the
Mr.
time?
Kaepernick.
Yeah, now playing with the 49ers. That tells you how good Graziano was.
Yes, he had a cannon for an arm. Went to Arkansas Tech and set a bunch of records after he transferred. Here we go, 3rd and 15. Long drop. This is Wood trying to throw across his body, which is never a good idea, and that pass was to nobody. And we have a penalty flag on the far sideline. This could be a roughing the passer or a hold.
Well, what a break for Las Lomas if this is against the defense, because they really had that play sniffed out and played it very well. Let's check the call.
Oh, no, it's an illegal receiver downfield against Las Lomas, so it'll be 4th down. That's a legal receiver downfield. Or I have an itchy back. That means I have an itchy head. Tony's trying to go through signals here. This is
no, I think it's an illegal forward pass. This is an eligible man downfield.
Oh, is that? And then this is legal forward. Why would that be an illegal forward pass?
He must have been across the line. That's the only way that would have been illegal.
I think it was not a good forward pass, but you don't get penalized for that, Tony. There'd be a number of teams getting penalized a lot. This is not a good punt. It goes out of bounds at the 39-yard line. A punt of 25 yards. Campolindo, unbelievably, who've had a 91-yard touchdown, started at their own 35, and now they're going to start at the Las Lomas. Still waiting for the spot. It looks like the 38-yard line. So 4:41 to go. 7-0 Campo, and you can see why Campo. The amazing thing, and we talked about this a little in the open, Tony, is how could the prognosticators get this team so wrong?
Yeah, apparently somebody just woke up and he was asked, "What do you think about Campolindo?" He didn't know, and he just said, "Well, I guess they're going to come in last."
Up, and now they're going to go with an option pass, and it's incomplete. The handoff was to Thornton, and Thornton turns out to be a left-hand thrower, which of course you don't really know if you watch him catch passes, because you have to use both hands.
You have to use both hands. Here he just has to use one. They had the gadget play, but credit the Las Lomas defense that time, Dan. You saw the receiver running downfield. He had the cornerback right with him. He had the safety on the other side, and that time they had the receiver sandwiched. So really, probably an area where you normally won't want to throw a pass.
Sometimes that watching film pays off. 2nd and 10 from the 38 of Las Lomas. Stevens to throw again, deep drop, being forced out of the pocket, now running. Throws near sideline, and that's out of bounds. The intended receiver was Pyatt, and so after the two big plays to kind of get going, the Las Lomas defense has stiffened here over the last course of about 7 or 8 plays.
Well, that time Carson came off the near end spot over here, forced the quarterback outside, and then gave chase, was in hot pursuit right there, and really forced Campo just to kind of throw the ball away that time. So give Carson credit. Another good defensive play by Las Lomas.
3rd and 10. Let's see what the Cougars have up their sleeve here on 3rd and long. Stevens will throw again. Throws, and that's incomplete. That was intended for number 5, Mason Windat, and that ball was behind him.
Yeah, that looked to me like Windat was going to run a shorter pattern, come back much earlier, and Stevens thought apparently he's going to come back sooner. Windat thought he was going a little farther. Receiver and quarterback, not on the same page that time.
Looks like Campo's going to go for it on 4th and 10 from the 38-yard line. And this, amazingly, if they hold him, would give Las Lomas their best field position of the night.
Yeah, gutsy call here because you can really pin them deep the way you did last time. If not, like you said, Las Lomas would start out in really good shape.
Stevens will throw. Oh, beautiful slant pattern. Graziano has it. He's inside the 15, down to the 12. That was number 3 riding on his back, Garrett McGough, but that was a quick hit. Beautiful. This is one of the plays you see a lot in the West Coast offense.
You see him going right over there, able to make that catch, but that offensive line has got to get credit there too, Dan, because if you don't give your quarterback a little time, and you can't allow the defense to make any push up there, or you'll take that middle passing lane away from your quarterback. Good job by the offensive line protecting that time.
First down. Barley, right side, and he gets about 3.
Hand off to number 21.
Las Lomas, Tony, other than the slip to Miramani, has beaten everyone on their schedule. Some impressive wins against College Park, Northgate in the crosstown rivalry. No longer in the same league, something we can talk about later in the game.
Strange.
Since
Yeah,
we've been away, they've changed the leagues, and they're going to change them again. A tough game against Dublin, just 10-9, and then last week they beat Doherty Valley 42-6.
Wow.
They play Acalanes next week, while Campolindo concludes their season
a Thursday
tonight.
night affair, kind of unusual.
Yeah, next Friday is Veterans Day, and a lot of these schools don't play on that day. Stevens will throw. Throws one up for Pyatt, and it's incomplete. Near end zone.
Now you saw that little fade route going out here to the near corner, but well played again by Las Lomas. They had a defender right with the receiver. Take another look here, Dan. He's going to lob it out there, and good-looking play. Actually, if he had turned around a little sooner, Pyatt, and he might have had a better chance to come over closer toward that corner in the sideline and make that catch, but a little bit late, but still well covered by Las Lomas.
That was Robert Au, who's been involved in many plays so far. Big play here on 3rd down, inside the 10. Timeout called by Campolindo. 3:15 to go here in the first quarter, 7-0 Cougars. And Tony, what have you been doing since they unceremoniously took our show off the air back in the days of community access television?
When I haven't been crying?
Yeah. Yes.
When I haven't been bitter?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Those two things would be.
It's just kind of going on, Dan, trying to get some more gigs, doing some work for St. Mary's, doing some work out for Novato TV for a little bit. So trying, keeping busy with some good stuff.
You know, City of Walnut Creek, people don't realize is that there used to be a whole system of community access channels. It was a requirement, and then when all the cable companies kind of broke up, it really depends on the city now. And luckily, our founder and our beloved Matt Bolander, Metal Matt, of course, to all you, has found a home at Walnut Creek TV, and he was nice enough to call us up and say, hey, you guys want to do a football game?
Never lets us down. He's always trying.
And so hopefully they'll let us do a basketball game.
Yeah, www.walnutcreektv.org. TV comes home, and yes, we have some games. We'll have some games for you here on Walnut Creek TV.
Hasn't TV always come home? It's always come to my home.
Does,
yeah,
but
I don't know.
For a while, it wasn't coming to Walnut Creek. Remember, they changed it all around,
That's
and
true.
you didn't have it.
So now it's come back home. All right, here we go. After the timeout. Offset backs on 3rd and 7. Stevens will throw. Moves up in the pocket. He's going to run. He's at the 10. Oh, and he gets hammered at the 5-yard line. And I don't know if that did more damage to Stevens or the defender, but I see both getting up.
Now I saw Cole Gravitt.
That was Hill on the tackle.
And Cole Gravitt, also number 5 here, is going to force him to the outside. Good pressure to get him out of the pocket. And then you see the defensive backs come up and converge. 3 guys around the quarterback to make the stop. Another good play by Las Lomas. They made some very nice plays here on this drive, but they gave up that one pass play to that big 4th down to keep this drive alive.
So they're going to go for a field goal here. This will be Antizana, who is wearing 44 tonight, not 87, if you're following along with your printable roster that Campolindo offers on their website. Very nice. 21-yarder. The kick is up. And the kick is good. 10-0. Campolindo, 2:15 to go in the first quarter. So Campolindo, Tony, has racked up some yardage here. I know Dave Jackson, by the way, for you out there following along, Dave Jackson is here. We got him not only out of retirement, but out of the retirement home tonight to come out here and do stats for us.
You know,
I'm not tied in. I can walk over to him now because I'm not tied in with these cords anymore. And Dave will show us what kind of stat. But Campolindo's got to be winning the yardage war by plenty.
A lot of times the Cougars don't kick a whole lot of field goals, Dan, because they have been so good offensively when they get inside the 20. They could try them from 40. They always kick the PAT, so that's kind of unusual with high school football. You've got 2 teams here that do very well with PA teams, but Las Lomas able to hold them to a field goal.
Stevens is 3 of 8 for 138 yards and the long touchdown. Completions of 91, 21, and 26. You can kind of see how their offense works. They like the big play. And Pyatt, of course, has 2 receptions for 112. Only 22 yards of total offense for Las Lomas at this juncture of the game. And that kick is out of bounds. So if there is a chink in the Campo attack, it's the kicking game, although the field goal was good. But they've kicked a few balls out of bounds here, Tony. And this will give Las Lomas pretty decent field position here with 2:15 to go in the first quarter, but they got to get something going.
They surely do, and you got to give Kevin Macy and that offense some credit going for it on 4th down. Instead of punting the football, they come up with a big play and end up turning it into 3 points. Now that Las Lomas has a little better field position here, Dan, let's see if they don't try to open up their offense here.
The ball's placed at the 35 after the out-of-bounds kickoff. So this is where Wood will start. And it looks like Villa again, and Villa's hit twice. The second tackle came after a gain of a couple. And most of the Cougar interior line is in. It looks like Graziano was down at the bottom of that pile again.
Well, you saw Jake Villa take on a defender in the backfield, Dan. Take on that contact, make a nice spin move to at least make something out of that. Straight ahead, power runner, very tough, very physical. A 3-year varsity starter on this squad, Dan. So a lot of straight ahead stuff. He's not a big juke and fake guy, but you see that he can make that 360 spin.
2nd and about 7. Villa. Now this is a quick hitter for Villa, and that time he had a hole. And he gets a first down and a gain of 10. Out to the Las Lomas 47-yard line.
Now you're going to see them run over on that left side a lot, Dan. Take a look over here. That's the side where Mitch Frantescu and Derek Stomp both line up. Both these guys are prospects to play at the next level. Mitch already has a scholarship offer to Sac State and is being recruited by Fresno State as well. And he's a 2-year starter. Stomp started last year, Dan, as a sophomore, and he will be heavily recruited. Both will probably play defensive line at the next level.
Play action pass. Wood to throw. He's in trouble, but he still has the ball, throws, and it's caught at the 41-yard line by number 44. The big tight end finally gets involved. Kerry Carson made that play, coming back to the ball.
Well, you talk about Wood improvising, Dan. Had to roll out all the way here to the near side. Take a look at it after the play action. Good pressure here by the Campolindo front from a couple of guys, forcing him. But look how long he holds onto the ball, waits, and then gets it to the open receiver. Nicely done by the quarterback that time.
And Tony, it's nice to finally have a play in front of us and not to one side or the other. Hand off Villa. Villa, big hole. And once again, Villa has a first down. Straight ahead for 11 yards. And as we always used to talk about, when your defensive line, which were making the tackles early, you're doing good on defense. When your defensive backs and safeties are making tackles on running plays.
Yeah. If it's not in the offensive backfield, then that's not a good thing. But you can see right now, Dan, we talked about it, the offensive line a lot bigger here for Las Lomas than the defensive front of Campolindo.
This is the 8th carry for Villa, and now he'll get close to 50 yards for the night. Villa on the season coming in with 962 yards rushing. He's going to be close. He is over now 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, over almost 6.3 yards a carry, and is long on 53. As we've got the timeout.
That'll wrap up the first quarter. First place Campolindo comes into Las Lomas. They take a 10-0 lead. We'll be back in 2 minutes here on Walnut Creek Television.
You're free to explore downtown Walnut Creek. Shopping, dining, and entertainment are only a stop away on the free ride. Catch the free ride trolley from BART, Broadway Plaza, the Leisure Center, or one of its many downtown stops. The free ride stops every 15 minutes to keep your day moving. Check out cccta.org for more information on how you are free to explore downtown Walnut Creek.
Dan Wallen, Anthony Schultz. That's why people don't know you, because they thought you were Tony, and they were going, hey, Tony, and you're going, well, wait, I'm Anthony now.
Well, anybody else fine. From you, I prefer sir.
Oh, well, guess what?
I'm not going to get that.
No, you're not. You might get something else, but it ain't going to be that. Now, unlike other times, we were watching a Giants game, you and I, and the way Dave Fleming and John Miller switch around, well, I'm going to let you do play-by-play in the second and third quarter.
All right, thank you very much, Dan. A 10-0 lead for Campolindo, but Las Lomas on the move here inside the 30. Handoff going right up the middle. It's Villa again, trying to pound for some yards. And there you see that physical straight-ahead running provided by Mr. Villa, putting up all those yards. Telling you, Dan, nearly 6.3 yards on the average for him. And this is a guy that doesn't have a whole lot of juke moves. It's kind of right at you straight ahead.
It's pretty much north-south, Tony. As I watched that play, and it's pretty much the same hole, the same guys you were talking about on the left side. And they've probably run that play 10 times so far tonight.
You got that big offensive line, a couple of guys that we talked about doing so well. You can make a lot of mileage out of it. Split backs behind Wood this time, going to hand off. And now right up the middle here. Not a whole lot of room, but very close to a first down. It looks like they got it. And that was Garrett McGough there on the carry that time. And that will move the chains. First down for Las Lomas. It's going to go right up the middle. And pretty stout that time by the Campo defense, but it is enough for a first down. And just starting the second quarter, 11:13 to go. 10-0 Campolindo, but here's Las Lomas on the move.
Well, they had 24 yards before this drive. They have 47 yards on this drive, so this is the best drive of the night for the Knights. Say that 5 times fast.
Sounds like a pretty good tongue twister there. All right, Wood under center. 4 wide receiver spread. 1 setback behind him. Short drop, looks over here to the near side, throws, it's caught. And that is going to be down close to the 10-yard line. A nice gain over there. That is going to be David Breeze, number 6. And I think we're pronouncing that Bryce. 6'2", 185-pound senior. And that time on the short drop, able to leap up and make that catch. And that's going to leave him just short of the first down. A couple of yards to go here.
Is the stadium announcer using Bryce?
I thought he was using Bryce.
We'll go with Bryce.
Breeze. Let's go ahead with Bryce.
But there's more you can do with Breeze, like you call him Summer Breeze, Swift Breeze.
Yeah, a lot more nicknames you could get out of
so we might have to talk to him about that after. But a nice catch on the near sideline.
Second down at 4 and about the 12-yard line of Campolindo. Man in motion to the far side. Handoff going the other way. He's going to try to make that turn, cuts it up inside, picks up the first down. And he'll be down inside the 5 and 1st and goal now for Las Lomas. Ardell Romez, that is the Z back, Dan.
Watch this, though, Tony. Villa throws a great block there to spring him out to the right side. And it took a couple of the linebacking crew and the defensive backs missed. And so that's why they're down now inside the 5, inside what everyone loves to call the red zone.
1st and goal, Dan, and that was almost like this. You want to get a seal here and a seal here and run this play in the alley. That's exactly what they did. Kind of looked like that old power sweep.
Is that Vince Lombardi?
That was my Vince Lombardi impression. First down and goal now inside the 5 at about the 3. And out Villa up the middle, and he's going to be stopped short. They're going to mark him just off the goal line, so a pickup of maybe a yard, and that'll bring up second down and goal.
They're just, he doesn't have to remember a lot. Because that's pretty much, it's like same play. Same play.
It's not really, they're not really running the stretch play, Dan. They're kind of handing it off.
He just kind of goes off that left side.
Here's that left side and just kind of pick a hole, find it where you can. All right, Villa. 3-back offense this time. Villa going to get it as the tailback.
There he is.
On the left side. Touchdown, Las Lomas. So Villa going over from a yard away, and with 8:57 to go, they've cut the lead to 10-6, pending the extra point.
Great drive after the short kick, Tony. They went 65 yards, most of it done by Villa, and you can see that time a little bit more power than the previous times. It ran into a linebacker right around the goal line. He breaks the tackle, takes it in for the touchdown. He actually ran into number 99, who's a big boy over there on the Campolindo sideline. Jack Simmons, a senior lineman, and he was able to power off him into the end zone. So now we got a ball game. We got an injured Knight down on the sideline. We'll have to check on that one for you.
We're going to get the extra point here. Snap, a hold. The kick is up. The kick is good. And just like that, Dan, it looks like Campolindo's dominating, but all of a sudden Las Lomas comes back with that 65-yard drive. Villa right, Villa left. Basically Villa up the middle, touchdown Las Lomas.
Reminds me of that great Blue Oyster Cult song, Godzilla. Here we could call him Godvilla.
Wow. Dan,
pop culture references, Tony. They're my bag.
I like the pop culture references, but when you put it in the form of a joke, Dan, I can't encourage you to do that more.
Sorry, Tony.
8:57 to go. It's 10-7 now. And I'm looking at a whole lot of numbers here. 11 carries.
Tony doesn't understand our stat system that me and Dave Jackson have created. That's why I did it, so no one else would ever know. 11 carries, 54 yards, and a touchdown.
Thank you very much, Dan.
And Villa for the season now is over 1,000 yards. Right?
Yeah, great season. Congratulations to him. And also, Dan, let's go ahead and mention that Las Lomas front line that's really helped him out up there. We talk about Wolf at center, Stom at one guard, Alvey at the other guard, Francesco, and then Connor Sanson over there at the right tackle. 3 of those guys juniors, and boy, really getting it done over there. Adam Wood also a junior, but so it kind of looks like Garrett McGough coming back. Wow, I think Las Lomas is going to be pretty good next year too.
And Robert Owl.
Robert Owl also a junior.
As you said, wow.
Wow.
Owl
Wow is right. They are going to be very potent again next year as well. All right, kickoff here. And this one is going to be taken about the 1-yard line to the 5. Kicks it to the outside, kind of stuttered and then stumbled in and really caught the ball and kind of waited there for a moment. And then finally takes the ball out. And it's going to be a tough starting spot here as Carl Thornton looked like he caught the ball and kind of hesitated a little bit. Dan, take another look.
Well, he did wait. I never returned kicks, Tony. I was never that fast or that athletic. But as you can see there are times I would imagine, as you can watch on television, when there's a big gaping hole and other times when there's absolutely nothing. And I think that time there was absolutely nothing and he just waited for a hole and it never came.
All right, here we go. Stevens under center. Starting out from their own 15-yard line, their worst starting position of the night for Campolindo. Short drop, throwing over here to the flat. Caught out to the 20, 25, turning that corner out across the 30-yard line. They're going to mark him down at just about the 30. I think they're going to have him just short of the first down, but take another look.
Well, if you watch this, Tony, you'll see you had one defender on 2 guys, and that's not going to work. You got to get another guy out there to pick up your receiver. That time was number 2. That was Carl Thornton, who's their possession guy. He has the same amount of catches as Pyatt does, but 330 yards less. So you can see what they do with those 2. Thornton underneath, Pyatt down the middle, and of course we saw Graziano involved as well.
And you like to see those wide receivers blocking on the outside and downfield and to really spring those plays. Handoff going up the middle, stacked up pretty good, but able to keep his legs churning there. And is Ibarle. And Ibarle able to pick up a few yards, coming out across the 30, out across the 35 to about the 36-yard line. So a gain of about 5. It'll bring up second down at 5 here for Campolindo.
Campo a little bit more varied in their offense. You'll see throws into the flat. You'll see some different kind of option. We saw some reverse sweep type stuff out of them. And Las Lomas is just, we're going to run right at you. This is it.
Pretty simplistic the way the Knights come at it, but very effective. Stevens back, throws. He's got a man. That's going to be caught for a first down out across the 40 to about the 44-yard line. So a gain of about 9 yards on the play. And it looked like it was Griffin Pyatt again. So Griffin Pyatt having another fantastic day. And what a great offensive year he's had, and what a great offensive year this team has had. First down for Campo at the 45.
And Cole Gravitt came up, and if you're going to give them 4 or 5 yards, you need to punish them, make them think about that the next time they catch that ball over the middle, and he did it on that play.
All right, this time Graziano lining up toward the near side. Handoff up the middle and tripped and stumbled up. And Villa came up to make the tackle. That's Rosenbaum. And he picks up a few yards going right up the middle. Took one out of the Las Lomas playbook that time.
You could see there was just no one blocking Villa. Come up from his linebacker position, makes the tackle. You see a lot of that with this other maroon and gold team. I know you don't like to talk about him, Tony. I'm wearing the colors tonight. But, of course, the great Patrick Willis. You have to admit, no matter who you root for, he's a great middle linebacker.
He's a great player.
He's almost unblockable. And on that play, Villa was unblockable.
A 2-yard gain that will bring up second down and 8. I was very impressed the last couple times I've seen Justin Smith play. He's been there a long time. He's playing great football for them, too. All right, second down and 8 for Campo at the 47-yard line. Here's Stevens. Handoff. Going to go up the middle and quite off on the left side again this time. And that one, it's going to be Nick Abramson on the tackle for that Las Lomas defense. And take another look here, Dan.
And what you're seeing here is a missed block. There's 3 zones there usually, Tony, as we watch at runner. The line, the linebacker line, and then off he's behind him. You get behind the linebackers, that's where you start gaining yardage. They're getting past the line, but the linebackers have been making the play for Las Lomas. Villa on that play, Abramson on that play. If you don't block the linebackers, you're not going to gain a lot of yards.
No, that's the defensive line job, to keep those linebackers clean, Dan, and they struggle with that on a few plays. Stevenson back, throws over the middle, caught, and somehow held onto near the 40-yard line of the Campolindo. That's going to be good for a first down. Graziano coming up there to make that catch, and watch him hold on to this, then takes a hit. A punishing shot that time, and I can't believe he held on to that football. And it looked like it was number 21, Kyle Hill, that really laid a lick on it. But how did Graziano hold on to the ball?
Well, they've been getting hits on those plays. Graziano, though, that's the second time he's had to go up high to make the catch. He's a very, very effective tight end. And we always say, you got to throw to the tight end in high school football because they're always open.
They always are. Offset eye in the backfield this time. Stevens takes the handoff. Under some pressure, now steps up, looking for a room to run, and he's going to be caught from behind, and that is going to be for Las Lomas number 44, Carson. Kerry Carson coming up to make the tackle, and how about that hustle by Carson here, Dan? As he got into the backfield initially, Stevens got around him, and then he came up from behind the play to chase him down.
Carson and then Wood came up and kind of slowed him down as well. But I've been impressed with the Las Lomas defense on this drive. Even though Campo's moving the ball, they're taking a long time to do it. They're not. It's not this quick hit, 1 or 2 plays. Let's go down the field.
Yeah, don't catch a plane, take a bus. All right, Stevens. That was not a sack that last time. But Stevens did get back to the line of scrimmage. Here he's throwing, and up high that time. And that time looking for Carl Thornton, unable to connect with him, threw that ball a little bit high.
Well, I was going to say, you run a seam route like that, Tony, you do not want to go high. That's got to be, the receiver has no time to turn and get to that ball. That ball's got to be in the breadbasket, and that one was high. As we were talking about the 49ers, that reminds me of the kind of passes our friend Alex Smith throws sometimes that makes me want to throw a brick through the television.
But all of a sudden, when you're 6-1, things starting to look, he's looking a lot better.
He does, but he still throws that pass that makes me want to throw a brick through the television.
3rd down and 10 now here for Campolindo, operating from the 40-yard line of Las Lomas. 3 wide receiver split here to the near side. Here's Stevens to pass with time. Throws to the far side. Nobody home over there. It looked like the wide receiver, Dan, kind of was doing an out pattern. Apparently Stevens thought he was running a go route, and nobody home. Take another look.
If we look at this, you'll see Stevens stumble right here. And maybe was going to go this way, looks back, doesn't see that there's absolutely nothing there. He just, basically, that's the best play is to get some yardage. The second best play is not to lose a bunch of yardage, and he made it on that one, and now they got a punt.
Well, punt time here for the Cougars. Yeah, this one going to float over to the far side. Going to be caught at the 12-yard line by Owl. And this is going to be a pretty good net, Dan, for almost a 30-yard net, about a 29-yard net for Campolindo. And Las Lomas, again, going to start deep in their own territory.
The field position game has definitely been won in the first half by the Cougars. But Las Lomas made use of that bad kick the last time to go 65 yards to score. This time they're going to have to go 88. They got 4:44 left on the clock here in the first half. And we got ourselves a ball game here tonight, Tony, and very nice to be back on the air. And you know, sometimes we have a game and it would be like 35-0. We won't say who was usually ahead, but you know, it was that team that plays on treat.
Yeah, we had a lot of those games, unfortunately, with some of those varsity games. All right, handoff. There's that Z back again, breaking out of the open field. Turns the corner, going to get out near the 30-yard line, and there's Romez, the Z back, Dan. And you can see what they like to do to him. Put him in motion, hand him the football, and let him go. And able to pick up a nice gain there.
He's off.
Let's see where they're going to mark this football, about the 30-yard line. And so nearly a 20-yard gain. Call it 18 on the play.
There seems to be confusion on the field.
I don't see any flags on the field, but the referees seem like they have something going on here. Unless I'm mistaken,
this
I
has
don't
got
see
to
any
be
laundry.
an illegal block, I would assume, if there is a penalty. On that kind of play, Tony, you notice they've been running the ball up the middle, running the ball up the middle, running up the ball up the middle. You get kind of used to seeing that, and then all of a sudden here comes Romez around the left side, and you can see a big gain that time. They're picking up the flag.
Okay, there was a flag thrown, but apparently it wasn't a penalty.
And now that's an experienced official there. He called all of his officials together. Let's get it right. That's the way it's supposed to work. That was a very good job by David
Will
Ty.
be an 18-yard gain and a first down on the run from Romez. So first down for the the Knights here at the 30-yard line and get some better field position out here toward the 30. You know, that 12-yard start this time, they had not their worst of the night. They started their own 4 a couple of possessions ago. So Campo's doing a pretty good job with that field position situation. All right, Wood under center. Hand off. Here's Villa. Villa going to get out to the level of the linebacker. And it looked like Jamie Vega came up and made the tackle this season. That's going to be another nice gain, Dan. They're going to get across the 34 to the 35-yard line. So about a 5-yard gain.
The physical play, Tony, on the interior line. And as we're calling Vega, we're calling Graziano, we're calling Windat. We're not talking about Perry Simmons, Bakhtiari, or McDonald, because they're getting blocked off the play. And these little chunks of yardage are all adding up for the Knights.
All right, second down and 5. Rolling to his right, throws over the middle, and the pass is dropped.
That was one of the stranger-looking plays so far of the night. Dropped by Milner, the tight end. You can see just a quick step, and then a rollout by Wood. Good block there to keep him off the quarterback, right in Milner's hands, and it was just dropped. Very simple explanation for a simple play, but it looked a little different than some of the other things they've ran so far tonight.
And now we have Las Lomas timeout. So when we come out of the timeout, it'll be 3rd down and 5 for the Knights from their own 35-yard line. 3:58 to go here in the half, and they trail at 10-7. Rocco's Restaurante and Pizzeria, and boy, wasn't that delicious tonight.
You know, Tony, I live on the Antioch-Pittsburgh side of the hill, and I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to say that I really don't think that anyone can compete with the Rocco's Pizza. As far as I can tell you, someone says, where do I go get a really good old-fashioned? There used to be a pizza parlor in Pittsburgh called Carlos Pizza. It used to be right on the corner of Railroad on California, and they had to tear it down for the new freeway. And I must have eaten 1,000. That's why I've lost some weight, Tony. If you noticed, I don't eat 1,000 pizzas anymore. And but when someone says that, I mean, you always go get a pizza. But I think the best pizza is Rocco's, and that's just my opinion. They make an old-fashioned pizza pie.
And what I also like is they are that old pizzeria. You can go in there, watch TV, get something to drink, relax, nice atmosphere, great food, great service. Rocco's Restaurant and Pizzeria, great place to eat.
I watched the NCAA championship game in basketball there last year. Well, I watched most of it. I forgot some of the second half due to the fact that the bartender kept serving us.
3rd down and 5 from their own 35-yard line here for the Knights. Handoff, Villa, right side, picks up a block, tries to turn the corner, but it's dragged down on a fine defensive play. Carl Thornton coming up from the safety position to make that tackle, and that's the good times when your defensive backs are making tackles, Dan.
Thornton was almost lined up as an end there, or a linebacker. He was close to the line of scrimmage. Could have been the old horse collar.
Looked like it there.
But it wasn't called, so that'll force a 4th and 3, and the Knights to punt here, and Campbell's going to get the ball back with 3:30 on the clock.
So plenty of time for Campolindo. They still have a couple of timeouts left. So a nice tackle there by Thornton to force the punt. And Las Lomas will have to give up the football here with 3:19 and counting. Good punt. Going to bounce here at the 30. Continue to take a big roll for Las Lomas all the way down to the 11-yard line of Campolindo. So they'll start deep in their own territory. So both teams right now, Dan, sort of playing that field position game.
Yes, and if you look at that first touchdown, this might be where Campolindo needs to be. They love the big play, and that early in the game they had the big kickoff return call back, a 91-yard touchdown, 90 yards. This might be where they need to be, Tony, to score. This is what we always talk about the Sharks when they fall behind 2-0 down there at the tank.
No, Dan, you always talk about the Sharks.
Well, I always talk about the Sharks. I say we got them right where we want. We have to be behind to come back and win, like last night.
All right, 3:04 to go. First down and 10 from the 11. Stevens, hands off, trying to go over that left side, and closed down very quickly by that Las Lomas defense.
You'll see Barley not get much by way of blocking. You'll see number 57 come through unabated, Mitch Frantescu. He's a load, and you can see why this guy has the potential to play Division I football.
They said this guy is going to be in the D1 playing on the defensive line, so he will be playing Saturdays at a station near you.
Yes. Can you believe how many college football games are on there? If you have like the full packages, 33 are on tomorrow.
You know, I can't. Yeah, but there's one in particular that everybody wants to watch. Second down.
Yeah, which game is that?
Over, and it's going to be tipped and incomplete.
Wow.
And boy, right off the hands
It was Windat, but there was also Abramson was in the middle of that. Al was almost able to enter, excuse me, not Al, but Hill was there. And a lot of craziness there, Tony, on that tip drill.
Yeah, very fortunate for Campolindo that ball wasn't intercepted. All right, third down now, and 12. Campolindo operating from their own 9-yard line. Back to pass, under some pressure. Now Stevens going to run, breaks a tackle, breaks another tackle, Stevens. And Stevens is going to be close to a first down over here, out of bounds over on that far side. And this is going to be a first down for Stevens on a beautiful scramble, on a big play here. They needed 12 yards, and they got it. You can see the pressure coming up the middle. Nice job by Stevens.
It was a pocket, and there was good pressure, but they let him get out of it, and that's the one thing you can't do. And they were he was surrounded. He found a little hole on the left side, and then a couple of tackles missed. He's got a first down out to the 30. They still got 2:13 to go, a couple timeouts. They might be able to go down at least get in field goal range.
A 21-yard scamper by the quarterback, and boy, Las Lomas got to be kicking themselves for letting that one get away. All right, man in motion coming far side to the near side. And a handoff. Go over that left side, pick up, nice ball's loose, covered by Las Lomas. Connor Rosenbaum had the football, could not hold on.
We'll have to check the replay, Tony. Al recovered. Just got to see who forced this fumble. It looked like a second effort. Caught Rosenbaum here. Here he's hit, and from behind it stripped out. And we just didn't get to see that number. But one of the Knights stripped him. Al recovers. Now Las Lomas has a chance to either go and tie this or take the lead with 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
So here comes Las Lomas from the 37-yard line of Campolindo. And they've got 2:07 and 2 timeouts of their own with which to operate here, Dan. Stevens, or Wood rather, back, throws. This one is complete. And that is going to be Robert Al on the catch, sliding down. And they're going to mark him very close to a first down. And take a look at here, Wood on the scramble.
You see, it's not necessarily play action, but when Wood is taking the snap, he's kind of hitching to the left just to get all those guys to freeze over there. They've seen the ball go to the left so many times, and it just makes you stop. And then he gets that roll going, and he's been able to find some receivers over there. So we're seeing both teams roll kind of what they do. We've seen it from Campo, and now we're seeing it from Las Lomas.
The out catch, good for 9 yards. Now from the Campolindo 27. It's starting up the middle and stacked up nicely there by the Campolindo defense to push Villa back. Boy, that time, Danny, looked like he ran into a brick wall.
That's what they used to say, of course, because I'm Dan Wall. You say he ran into Dan Wall. But I never made a play like that. It was 47 for Campolindo, Jamie Vega. That play that's what you call no gain.
Yeah, I'll
say. No gain on that play, Tony. We got a timeout on the field, so we can talk a little bit more.
No gain and ouch on the play. That'll bring up third down and 4, and now back to the 30-yard line. So they lose 3 yards on the play. But still plenty of time here for Las Lomas. Anthony Schultz along with Dan Wall here on Walnut Creek Television. So glad to be, well, I guess you could say back in the saddle here with
Back in the saddle, again, like Aerosmith. But we have all of our teeth. Of course, a reference to our Steven Tyler, who lost a few last week. You keep throwing the stuff at me, I'll throw pop culture at you all night.
Okay. Here's a one for you. Who's uglier, Tyler or Robert Plant? Now, remember how those guys were absolutely worshiped back in the day?
Tyler was ugly during the day, but he's still. Robert Plant was always a good-looking guy, but he's old now.
He looks like Whistler's mother, who had a real bad day.
Yeah, they're old. They're just old guys, dude. You know.
Yeah, that's true.
These guys are in their 60s now, Tony. You've got what, about 4 years until you're in your 60s?
Yeah. Third down and 4 here from the 30 for Las Lomas. Hand up. I think it's Villa going up the middle, and not going to pick up much that time. Perry, among others, there defensively for the Campolindo. And you talk about that Campolindo defense really stacking it up nicely.
And Gabe Samaniego. That's a mouthful. But as we mentioned, we weren't talking about these guys a lot. Now we're talking about
Kyle Hill actually on the carry that time.
That's right. That was Kyle Hill. But I'm just saying you're starting right on this drive. The line and the linebackers are taking care of business. 4th down and 3, and the Riverboat Gambler are going to go for it here. They do have a pretty good field goal kicker, can make them from distance, but going to try it. Going to go for it on 4th down. Trying to scramble. Wood trying to get away, and he's going to be dropped for a loss.
So Wood unable to pick up the first down.
And there was also a fumble, Tony. We'll have to see on the.
Yeah, it won't matter anyway because it was fourth down. Let's take another look.
Looked like Vega might have forced that fumble. And Campolindo gets it back on the 30, but just 28 seconds to go in the half.
Yeah, Sam Perry there first, Dan. Able to make that play. So nicely done by Campolindo to turn him away. Now they got to burn 28 seconds off the clock here. And remember, Las Lomas does have 2 timeouts, but they're not going to burn one here. They'll just let the time tick off. 23 and counting, and what a great first half of football, Dan. Campolindo coming out on fire, taking the 10-0 lead. But Las Lomas comes back with that nice 65-yard drive to make it 10-7, and that's where we stand after 2 quarters.
And after a couple of fumbles. So we've seen a little bit of everything here in the first half, Tony. Dan Wall and Tony Schultz back at Las Lomas High School. 10-7, Campolindo leads at halftime, Tony, and we have the first half stats here. And as you might predict after watching that first half, Campolindo has a sizable advantage in the offensive yards, 211 to 122. Only rushed for 42, though. Their game is the passing game, 169 yards.
And 91 coming on one play, that second play from scrimmage.
Absolutely. Las Lomas has ran for nearly 100 yards. We'll talk about some individuals here. For Las Lomas, Villa, 14 carries, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Wood is 4 for 6 for 24 yards. On the Campo side of the ball, Ibarle has only run 6 times for 10 yards. It's actually Stevens who's gained some yardage, one on that long scramble towards the end of the half. Stevens, 6 of 14 for 169 and a touchdown. Pyatt, 4 receptions for 132 for touchdown. Graziano, the 2 nice catches for 38 yards. We're going to take our last break before half.